Ethan Carter had always wanted to explore space. When he got accepted into Galactic Exchange University, the most prestigious interstellar academy, he was thrilled. It was a place where students from hundreds of species studied together, learning about each other's cultures, sciences, and histories. But he never expected to have a Vokthar as a roommate. As he stood in front of his dorm room, he reread the nameplate beside his own. He saw a ruin of Clan Draktur. Ethan took a deep breath. The Vokthar were known across the galaxy for one thing: war. They were massive four-armed reptilian warriors with thick, armored skin and a reputation for being unbeatable in battle. Even worse, they had a terrifying ability. Their touch could paralyze weaker species. Ethan had done his research. The paralysis wasn't permanent, but it was enough to make any close interaction dangerous. One accidental tap, and he could be out cold for hours. "All right, just be careful," Ethan muttered to himself. He swiped his keycard, and the door slid open with a soft hiss. The room was huge, designed to accommodate both human and alien needs. One side had a standard human bed, desk, and shelves. The other side was reinforced with metal plating, clearly meant for a much heavier occupant. And there, standing in the middle of the room, was Karun. The Vokthar warrior was impossibly tall, at least 8 feet, with dark green scales and glowing golden eyes. His 4 muscular arms were crossed over his chest, and his expression was unreadable. His tail flicked once, then went still. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Sauron's voice rumbled like distant thunder. "You are the human." Ethan cleared his throat. "Yeah. Name's Ethan. You must be Sauron." Sauron narrowed his eyes. "I have read about humans. You are fragile." Ethan laughed awkwardly. "Well, I prefer adaptable." Sauron didn't laugh. He tilted his head slightly, observing Ethan the way a scientist might observe a strange new creature. Then he stepped forward. Ethan's instincts screamed at him to back away, but he forced himself to stay still. The Vokthar warrior stopped just a foot away. "You will not touch me," Sauron stated firmly. "My kind, we do not control our paralysis ability. If I touch you, you will collapse. Do you understand?" Ethan swallowed. "Yeah. No touching." "Got it." Sauron held his gaze for another long second, then gave a slow nod. "Good. Then we will not have problems." Ethan let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. "Cool. So, do you have any other rules? I mean, besides the whole one-touch and eye-drop thing." Sauron moved to his side of the room, placing a heavy bag on the reinforced bed. "I require silence when I meditate. I do not eat human food. And I do not like foolishness." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Define foolishness." Sauron's golden eyes glowed slightly. "Unnecessary noise, reckless behavior, running around like a panicked prey animal." Ethan smirked. "Good news. I'm more of a calm under pressure kind of guy." Sauron studied him again, then gave a small grunt of approval. "We shall see." The first few days were surprisingly smooth. Sauron mostly kept to himself, meditating in the mornings and training in the evenings. Ethan quickly learned that the Vokthar was incredibly disciplined. His movements were precise, controlled, and powerful. Even when he simply stretched, Ethan could feel the sheer strength in his massive form. They rarely spoke at first, only exchanging short conversations about schedules and study plans. But Ethan was curious. One evening, while Sauron practiced a slow combat form, Ethan couldn't help but ask, "So, what's it like being a Vokthar warrior?" Sauron didn't stop moving. "It is not something we become. We are born warriors, trained from the moment we can stand." Ethan whistled. "That intense, huh?" Sauron paused, turning toward him. "Your kind is different. You are not trained for battle, and yet you survive. I do not understand how." Ethan grinned. We survive because we're stubborn and creative, and sometimes just plain lucky. Ezalrun made a thoughtful sound but said nothing. For the first time, Ethan saw a flicker of curiosity in the Vokthar's golden eyes. That night, Ethan woke to a loud crash. His heart pounded as he shot upright. The room was dark, but he could see a massive shadow looming over him. Before he could react, something huge and heavy slammed into him. His world went black. Ethan's mind drifted between darkness and light. His body felt numb, as if he were floating in deep space. Then, slowly, sensation returned, first as a tingling in his fingers, then a dull ache in his back. With a groan, he forced his eyes open. The first thing he saw was Kaorun, standing over him, his golden eyes filled with something strange, concern. "You are awake," Kaorun said, his deep voice quieter than usual. Ethan blinked, confused. He tried to sit up but immediately regretted it. His limbs were stiff and sluggish, as if they didn't belong to him. "What happened?" Ethan mumbled. Kaorun exhaled slowly. "I touched you." Ethan's brain struggled to process the words. Touched. Then it hit him. The crash. The shadow. The weight. "You knocked me out," Ethan asked, his voice weak but amused. Arun's tail flicked uneasily. "Not intentionally. Your shelf collapsed in the night. You were trapped beneath it. I moved to help you, but in my haste, I forgot my touch is dangerous to you." Ethan let out a short laugh, even as his muscles ached. "So, you saved me, and paralyzed me at the same time. Great rescue, buddy." Arun's jaw tightened. "I should have been more careful. I could have caused permanent damage." Ethan shook his head, finally managing to push himself upright against the bed. His arms still felt heavy, but he could move them. The paralysis wasn't lasting as long as expected. "Hey, I'm still in one piece," Ethan said. "No harm, no foul." Arun frowned. "You do not understand. A Vokthar's touch is absolute. Most species remain unconscious for hours, even days, and yet you are already recovering." Ethan flexed his fingers, testing his grip. "Yeah, guess my body doesn't like being told to sit still." Arun narrowed his eyes. "This is not normal. Your kind should not be able to resist my touch so quickly." Ethan shrugged. "Humans adapt. Maybe I'm just getting used to it." Arun was silent for a long moment. Then he stood up, arms crossed. "This requires further observation." Ethan groaned. "Oh great, now I'm a science experiment." Arun's eyes gleamed. "You are an anomaly. I must study you." Ethan sighed. "Fine, but next time, let's avoid the whole accidental paralysis thing, okay?" Arun nodded solemnly. "Agreed." The next few days passed without incident, but the incident stuck in Ethan's mind. He found himself growing more curious about his own resistance. Was his body really adapting? Or was something else going on? To test it, he started subtle experiments. When Arun handed him something, Ethan would let his fingers accidentally brush against the Vokthar's scales. At first, the paralysis returned, but each time it lasted for a shorter period. By the end of the week, Ethan was recovering in mere seconds. Finally, one evening, Ethan sat on his bed, tossing a ball between his hands. "All right, Arun, I think it's time for a little experiment." Arun, who had been sharpening a long ceremonial blade, looked up. "Explain." Ethan smirked. "I think my body is adapting to your paralysis. I barely feel it anymore." Arun set his blade aside, studying Ethan carefully. "That is impossible." "Is it?" Ethan challenged. "Then let's test it. Touch my arm, just for a second." Arun's tail flicked in irritation. "That is unwise." "Come on," Ethan pressed. "If I go down, you know I'll be fine in a few minutes." Arun hesitated. Then, slowly, he extended one of his massive hands and tapped Ethan's forearm with a single clawed finger. For a split second, Ethan's body froze. He felt the familiar wave of numbness, but instead of blacking out, he shook it off within 3 seconds. Talrun's eyes widened in shock. Impossible. Ethan grinned. Told you. I think I'm building a resistance. Arun stared at him like he had grown a second head. No species has ever done this. My touch is absolute. Yet, you resist. Ethan leaned back, feeling a strange thrill. Maybe humans are tougher than you thought. Arun was silent for a long time. Then, for the first time, he smiled, a sharp, toothy grin that sent a chill down Ethan's spine. You are interesting, Arun admitted. Ethan laughed. I'll take that as a compliment. That night, as Ethan lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, a thought nagged at him. This wasn't normal. Humans were adaptable, sure, but this was something else. Had he just unlocked a hidden ability? Or was there more to human biology than even scientists understood? One thing was certain. This was just the beginning. And he had a feeling things were about to get a lot more dangerous. Ethan sat on the edge of his bed, rolling a small metal ball between his fingers. His mind kept going back to what happened earlier. Arun's paralyzing touch no longer affected him the way it should. At first, he thought it was a fluke. Maybe luck. But the more he tested it, the more it became clear his body was adapting. Arun sat across the room, sharpening his ceremonial blade. His golden eyes flicked to Ethan every few minutes, as if studying him. Finally, the Vakthar warrior spoke. You are reckless, human, Arun said, his deep voice calm but firm. Ethan smirked. You say that like it's a bad thing. Arun's tail flicked once. It is. This resistance of yours, it is unnatural, dangerous. Ethan leaned back against the wall. Dangerous for who? Arun was silent for a long moment. Then he set his blade down and stood up. He crossed the room in 3 powerful strides and lowered himself to Ethan's level, his golden eyes glowing slightly. For millennia, no species has been able to resist the touch of a Vakthar. Arun said, not the strongest warriors, not the most advanced civilizations. And yet, he narrowed his eyes. You recover in seconds. Ethan held his gaze. Maybe humans are built different. Arun exhaled slowly. Perhaps, but this ability of yours, it will draw attention. The wrong kind of attention. Ethan raised an eyebrow. You mean from the university? Arun shook his head. No, from those who do not want humans to be strong. That made Ethan pause. He had spent weeks at the Galactic Exchange University, and while most alien students were friendly, not all of them liked humans. Some saw them as weak, undeserving of space travel. Others feared them, not because they were strong, but because they were unpredictable. So what? Ethan said, crossing his arms. I should pretend this isn't happening. Arun tilted his head. I am saying you should be careful. Strength attracts enemies. Ethan smirked. Then let them come. Arun let out a low, rumbling chuckle. Reckless, he muttered again. The next day, Ethan decided to push his limits. While Arun was meditating, Ethan went to the university gym. The place was filled with alien students of all shapes and sizes, some lifting weights, others using advanced training machines. Ethan found an empty training room and set up a test. He placed his hand on a mild electric pulse pad, a common alien workout device used to train reflexes. The machine sent small electric shocks through the body, normally uncomfortable, but harmless. He started at level 1. A slight tingle ran up his arm. Nothing. He increased it to level 5. The tingle became a sharp jolt. Unpleasant, but still manageable. Then he cranked it to level 10, the highest setting. His muscles tensed for a moment, then relaxed. Ethan grinned. His nervous system was changing, adjusting faster than it should. Interesting. Ethan jumped at the voice and turned to see Professor Ralphak, a tall insectoid alien with multiple red eyes, watching him. You should not be able to withstand that level of stimulation, human, the professor said, clicking his mandibles. Ethan quickly removed his hand from the machine. But just testing my limits, Professor. Ralphak studied him for a long moment, then nodded. Fascinating. I would like to run some tests on you. Ethan hesitated. What kind of tests? Nothing invasive, Ralphak assured him. But you may be the first human displaying an accelerated adaptive response to external threats. Ethan wasn't sure how he felt about that. He had come to this university to learn about aliens, not to become a lab experiment. I'll think about it, Ethan said. Ralphak nodded. Do not wait too long. Others will notice your abilities soon enough. Later that night, Ethan told Sauron about what happened at the gym. The Vakthar warrior was silent for a moment before saying, You must be more careful. Why? Ethan asked. I thought this was a good thing. Sauron sat back, his golden eyes unreadable. Power is never simply good or bad. It depends on who wields it and how it is used. Ethan frowned. Are you saying I should stop testing it? No, Sauron said. I am saying you should understand what it means. If you continue down this path, you will no longer be just another human student. You will be something more. Ethan swallowed. He hadn't thought about it like that before. Something more, he repeated. Sauron nodded. And something more always attracts attention. Ethan thought back to Professor Ralphak's words, to the way some alien students already looked at him differently. He had wanted to prove that humans could keep up with the rest of the galaxy. But now he might be proving something much bigger. Sauron stood. Come, if you insist on training, then do it properly. I will teach you. Ethan blinked. Wait, you're going to train me. Sauron smirked. You are reckless, but I respect your determination. If you must be strong, then be strong the right way. Ethan grinned and followed Sauron to the training area. He didn't know where this path would lead, but one thing was certain. He was just getting started. Ethan stood in the center of the dimly lit training hall, stretching his arms. His muscles still ached from yesterday's workout, but he wasn't going to let that stop him. If Sauron was offering to train him, Ethan would make the most of it. Sauron entered, his tall, armored frame moving with the grace of a predator. His golden eyes studied Ethan with quiet amusement. You are ready? Sauron asked. Ethan grinned. Always. Sauron smirked. We will see. The Vakthar warrior tapped a button on the wall, and the room changed instantly. The floor shifted, becoming a solid metallic platform. The walls glowed with faint blue energy, adjusting the gravity slightly. Ethan immediately felt heavier. His breath came slower. Whoa, what just happened? I increased the gravity by 20%, Sauron said. Your body will adapt faster under pressure. Ethan exhaled. All right, let's do this. Sauron nodded. He reached behind him and tossed something at Ethan. Ethan caught it with both hands and looked down. It was a training baton made of smooth, dark metal. Basic combat, Sauron said. You must learn to fight if you wish to control your strength. Ethan smirked. I've been in a few fights before. Sauron stepped forward, gripping his own baton. Then tried to land a hit. Ethan shifted into a fighting stance. He took a deep breath, then lunged forward, swinging his baton at Sauron's side. Crack! Before Ethan even realized what happened, he was on the ground, staring at the ceiling. Sauron stood over him, arms crossed. You are slow. Ethan groaned and sat up. Okay, yeah, that was embarrassing. Sauron extended a hand, and Ethan took it. The Vakthar pulled him up with ease. You rely too much on brute force, Kagsaurun said. Strength is important, but technique matters more. Ethan nodded. Got it. Try again. Thalrun grinned. Again. Hours passed. Ethan's muscles burned. His breath came in short bursts, but he refused to stop. Again and again. Kaorun knocked him down. Again and again. Ethan got back up. At first, he could barely react in time. But soon, he started seeing patterns. He learned to dodge instead of block, to move with the attack instead of against it. And then, finally, crack. Ethan's baton grazed Tharun's side. The Vokthar warrior stepped back, eyes wide. Then, to Ethan's surprise, Aksaruan let out a deep, rumbling laugh. You learn fast, human, Tadurun said. Ethan grinned, despite the pain in his ribs. Told you, humans adapt. Kilrun nodded. Good. Again. Ethan groaned but took his stance. He wasn't going to stop now. After training, Ethan collapsed onto his bed, too tired to even move. Every part of his body ached, but his mind was buzzing. Something was happening to him. He could feel it. His reflexes were sharper, his movements faster, his body adjusting in ways he couldn't explain. He flexed his fingers. Could this be part of his growing resistance to Xarun's touch? Before he could think too much about it, his communicator beeped. He groaned and reached for it. A message flashed across the screen. Meet me at Lab 3 tomorrow. I have answers. Professor Ralthak. Ethan sat up slowly. Answers. About what? He stared at the message, then at his hands. Maybe it was time to find out exactly what was happening to him. Ethan stood outside Lab 3, shifting nervously on his feet. The hallways of the Galactic Exchange University were quieter than usual at this hour. Dim blue lights lined the walls, casting long shadows. He took a deep breath and pressed the door panel. With a soft hiss, the door slid open, revealing Professor Ralthak waiting inside. The insectoid professor's red eyes flickered as he gestured for Ethan to enter. Come in, human. We have much to discuss. Ethan hesitated for a moment, then stepped inside. The lab was filled with glowing monitors, scanning equipment and alien technology he didn't recognize. In the center of the room was a medical examination table, along with a holographic screen displaying human anatomy. Ethan frowned. You said you had answers. About what? Ralthak clicked his mandibles. About you, Ethan. Ethan crossed his arms. All right, I'm listening. The professor tapped a few buttons, and the holographic screen changed, showing a detailed scan of Ethan's nervous system. Strange blue energy patterns flickered along the image. This, Ralthak said, pointing to the glowing patterns, is not normal for humans. Ethan frowned. What is it? Ralthak studied him carefully. Your body is changing, adapting at an unnatural rate. At first, I thought it was simply an enhanced nervous system response, but after analyzing your training sessions and your reaction to the Vokthar's paralysis, I believe something more is happening. Ethan's stomach tightened. Like what? Ralthak's mandibles twitched. Your biology is resisting foreign effects faster than should be possible. Your nervous system is rewiring itself to counteract threats. This should take generations of evolution, but it is happening to you in mere weeks. Ethan swallowed. You're saying I'm mutating? In a way, yes, Ralthak said. It is not just resistance to Xarun's touch. Your body is learning from everything. Soon, you may develop defenses against other alien abilities as well. Ethan felt his heartbeat quicken. He looked at his hands, flexing his fingers. So, I'm getting stronger. Ralthak tilted his head. That depends. Strength without understanding is dangerous. And you, Ethan, are an anomaly. If the wrong people discover this. A sudden loud beep interrupted them. The professor turned to one of his monitors, his red eyes narrowing. Ethan stepped closer. What is it? Ralthak's mandibles twitched. Someone is trying to access my research files. Ethan tensed. Who? The professor tapped the screen, running a quick diagnostic. His eyes widened. The Galactic Council's Biosecurity Division. Ethan's stomach dropped. That sounds bad. It is, Ralphak said grimly. If they suspect you are evolving beyond normal human limits, they may want to contain you. Ethan clenched his fists. No way. I'm not some lab rat. Ralphak nodded. Then you must be cautious. Tell no one else about this. Not even your own people. If word spreads, you could become a target. Ethan exhaled slowly. This was bigger than he thought. Before he could say anything else, the lab door suddenly slid open. Ruan stepped inside, his golden eyes sharp. We need to leave. Now. Ethan's heart pounded. What? Why? Zarun's tail flicked in agitation. I overheard something. There are already whispers among the council members. They are looking for the professor's research. If they connect it to you, they will come for you next. Ethan's mind raced. So what do we do? Ralphak turned off the monitors and began erasing his research data. For now, I will make sure my findings disappear. You must act as if nothing has changed. Continue training, but do not expose your abilities in public. Ethan nodded, his jaw tightening. He had come to this university to learn about aliens. He never expected to become a scientific mystery himself. Ruan placed a heavy hand on Ethan's shoulder. Stay strong, human. The galaxy is watching. Ethan met his alien friend's gaze and took a deep breath. He wasn't just another student anymore. He was something more. And now he had to survive. Ethan walked through the bustling halls of the Galactic Exchange University, keeping his head low. Every step felt heavier than usual. Not because of gravity, but because of what he had just learned. His body was changing, adapting in ways no human ever had before. And now, the Galactic Council's Biosecurity Division was looking for answers. If they found out about him, they wouldn't let him walk free. He clenched his fists, his heart pounding. Stay calm. Act normal. That's what Professor Ralphak had told him. If the council suspected anything, they would take action. Beside him, Ruan walked in silence, his golden eyes scanning the crowd. He was tense, more than usual. They are searching, Ruan muttered under his breath. Ethan's chest tightened. Who? Ruan flicked his tail toward a group of alien officials near the main entrance. They wore dark silver uniforms, their badges glowing faintly. Biosecurity agents. Ethan forced himself to breathe evenly. What do we do? Ruan's voice was low. We watch, we wait, and we do not let them see fear. Ethan nodded, but it was easier said than done. An unwanted warning. Later that night, Ethan sat in his dorm room, staring at the ceiling. His mind wouldn't let him rest. A soft knock at the door made him sit up. Ruan opened it, his sharp eyes narrowing. Who are you? A small, hooded alien stepped inside, glancing around nervously. Their skin was deep blue, their eyes a shimmering silver. Ethan recognized them. Velon, a student from the political sciences dep. Artmit. I do not have much time, Velon whispered. I came to warn you. Ethan's stomach twisted. Warn me about what? Velon hesitated, then glanced at Ruan. The council knows someone at this university is different. They do not have a name yet, but they are searching. Ruan crossed his arms. How do you know this? My brother works in the Biosecurity Division, Velon admitted. I overheard him speaking with his commander. They are tracking unusual biological signatures. If they find proof, they will act. Ethan swallowed hard. Act how? Velon looked at him, their silver eyes filled with concern. They will take you, and you will not come back. The words sent a cold shiver down Ethan's spine. He had suspected the council wouldn't let him walk away freely, but hearing it confirmed was something else entirely. Sauron's tail flicked sharply. Then we must be ready. Velon hesitated. There is one more thing. Ethan tensed. What? The council is offering a reward for information. Velon's voice dropped lower. If one of the students finds out about you, they might turn you in. Ethan's chest tightened, so it wasn't just the council he had to worry about. Anyone at this university could be a threat. Why are you helping me? Ethan asked. Velon met his gaze. Because the council fears what they do not understand, and fear makes them dangerous. Ethan nodded slowly. Thank you. Velon gave a quick nod, then slipped out of the room as quietly as they had arrived. Sauron closed the door, his jaw tight. This changes things. Ethan exhaled. Yeah, now it's not just about hiding. It's about surviving. A dangerous plan. For the next few days, Ethan did everything he could to stay unnoticed. He kept his training with XRU Unlimited, avoided Professor Ralphak's lab, and stayed away from crowded areas where someone might recognize his name. But deep down, he knew it wasn't enough. The council wouldn't stop looking, and eventually, someone would find out. So Ethan made a decision. One night, he turned to Axarun and said, I need to get off-world. Axarun frowned. That is a mistake. Ethan shook his head. If I stay here, I'm a target. If I leave, I can control my next move. Axarun was silent for a moment, then said, Where would you go? Ethan thought about it. The Galactic Exchange University was a safe place, but beyond it, the galaxy was unpredictable. I don't know, Ethan admitted, but anywhere is better than waiting to be captured. Sauron studied him for a long time. Then he nodded. Very well. If this is your path, we will prepare. Ethan exhaled in relief. He wasn't alone in this. Sauron placed a firm hand on his shoulder. But understand this, if you leave, you can never return. Ethan swallowed hard. He knew what that meant. Leaving the university meant losing his normal life forever. But as he looked at the door, imagining the biosecurity agents just beyond it, he realized he had already lost it. Ethan stood at the edge of the Galactic Exchange University's docking bay, staring at the rows of sleek starships. Each one represented a way out, a chance to disappear before the biosecurity division found him. Beside him, Sauron adjusted his armored gauntlet. His golden eyes scanned